Welcome to Bits of the Past Gaming. This is going to be part one of my Xbox 360 collection. So I'll get right to it. I'm going to explain some of the games, other games that aren't that important, I will skip over. But I will show every game that I have so far. This is based on probably about 4 months of collecting. So let's get to it. First game we have here is Alan Wake. Really good game, I heard. I haven't had a chance to play it. Also rare and collectible. You don't find it very often, and if you do, there's a pretty good price tag on it for a 360 game. Next, we have Alice, The Madness Returns. I'm playing through this right now. It's really good. Very heavy on the platforming and puzzle solving, but there is some good action in it as well. It's really trippy. Another game that's really rare and still remains pretty expensive. So if you don't have this game, I highly recommend it, and I highly recommend giving it a try as well. Next, we have Alien vs. Predator. Alien vs. Predator is another semi-rare game. The Hunter Edition is the most sought-after one and the most expensive one, but I have the regular version. Haven't played it, but I plan on doing that at some point. Next, we have Alone in the Dark. This is a survival horror type game. I love survival horror, so I plan on playing this, but I don't know too much about it. It's also semi-rare. I don't see it out and about too often. Next, we have Alpha Protocol. Cheap game, has like a third-person cover shooting RPG type of deal. Next, we have Anarchy Reigns. This one was real cheap, so I picked it up. Don't know much about it. Eventually, I'll give it a try. Next, we have the Arcade Unplugged Collection. Just basically a bunch of arcade games thrown on one disc. Next, we have Army of Two. Army of Two, great multiplayer game, fun to play with a friend. The Devil's Cartel, which is the third of the series, is the best one in my opinion. Definitely get more out of it if you play with a friend. It's something unique. Next, we have Batman Arkham Asylum. The first game in the Batman series. It's really good from what I've heard. Haven't had a chance to play it yet, but a lot of people say this is the best one in the series and it's beloved by fans. And then we have Arkham City as well. I'm still looking for Arkham Origins, or I haven't had a chance to buy it yet, but I plan on completing the series then. Next, we have Bioshock. Huge hit, popular game. I played probably about an hour of it. It was really cool. I like the atmosphere and everything. I just didn't get really into it enough, so I'll have to go back and play through it again. Bioshock 2 and Bioshock Infinite as well. The Bioshock Infinite is claimed to be one of the best looking games on the 360. It came out towards the end of the 360 life, from what I heard. Next, we have Borderlands and Borderlands 2. Very unique type of shooter with RPG elements. Wacky cartoon artwork on these. I didn't really get into it too much. I'll have to go back and play it again, but I don't know. I just couldn't get in with the art style. It just wasn't for me. Next, we have Black Site Area 51. This game is semi-rare. I don't see it out when I look for games too often, so it seems like it's becoming harder and harder to find. I heard mixed reviews about it. I'll have to play through it and let you know what I think. Next, we have Blue Dragon. Excellent RPG. Another rare game for the 360. A lot of people seek this game, and I think it's going to be worth a lot down the road. Next, we have Bulletstorm Epic Edition. Bulletstorm, heard it's a fun game, underrated game. I'm definitely looking forward to playing that. Next we have Bullet Witch. Heard this is a pretty bad game, and it was really cheap, but it's becoming harder and harder to get a hold of. So I think this is going to be rare down the road. A lot of people speculate that it's going to be a rare game and a collectible game. So I picked it up while I could. Next we have Bully, the Scholarship Edition. Great game. I played it on PS2, but this one is, updated, obviously, 360. I'm going to have to try it out and see the difference between the two, but heard it's excellent. Got this one. It's another rare game, collectible, and a lot of people try to hunt this one down. Still holds a pretty hefty price tag. Next we have the Burger King games. Back, I forget the year, but back when 360 was starting out, Burger King had a deal where if you got a kids value meal, you pay an extra $1 and they would give you one of these Xbox 360 games. So I had to pick up all three of these. It's Pocket Bike Racer, Big Bumpin', and Sneak King. They were all $1 a piece, so I definitely had to pick them up. I have a feeling these are going to be semi-rare going forward because a lot of them went to children, and children don't handle their stuff properly as a whole, and a lot of these probably got damaged or thrown away or destroyed. So I think they're going to become harder and harder to hunt down in the future. Next we have Call of Duty 4, probably one of the best games of modern times. The campaign is decent, but the online multiplayer, this game was a revolution. This game sparked so many clones, so many spin-off games. It revolutionized first-person shooting in modern times, and millions upon millions of people have played this game. And the Modern Warfare Remastered just recently came out, and people were lining up to pick that thing up to replay this because it was so beloved in the Call of Duty series. A lot of people say this is the best one. I have to agree. But we also had Modern Warfare 2, which upped the ante a little bit. Fun game as well. But Call of Duty 4 definitely was the best. Then I have Modern Warfare 3 and the worst Call of Duty Ghost. We won't speak of that. Next I have another rare game, Catherine. And this is the variant art cover, which is even more rare. So I had to pick that one up. I heard it's a pretty weird but fun game. I'm going to have to try it out sometime. There was a special edition, supposedly came with a pair of boxers. Weird, but that's out there if you try and hunt it down. Next game, Chrome Hounds. I picked this up real cheap, but it's going to be worth something someday, and a lot of people speculate that because it's not that easy to get a hold of, and it's probably one of the only mech games for this generation and the newest generation, the Xbox One, and so definitely a game to get a hold of now while it's really cheap. Next we have Conan. Conan, this was actually a fun game. I think this was underrated. A lot of people didn't give this the necessary props that it deserves. It did get kind of repetitive as time went on, but really fun game. Definitely should pick this up. It's becoming more rare. I don't see this that often when I'm out and about. So if you see this and it's in good condition, I would definitely pick it up, and it is fun to play. Next we have Crysis 2. The Crysis games have really great looking graphics, and it just looks incredible, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't know if it was the gameplay design or what, but I just couldn't get into it. Next we have Coldcept Saga. Another rare game, another popular, highly sought after game. I don't know much about it, but I found it for a decent price, so I figured I should probably pick it up before it gets even more expensive. Next we have Dante's Inferno. This game is really fun actually, and it's really weird and twisted. What you do is you like have to travel through the different levels of hell and fight your way through to save your lost wife. It's pretty wild. It's been called a God of War clone, and it is very similar, but it has its own unique feel and just some weird, freaky things in this. Next, we have Dark. This game, from what I've heard, Keanu Reeves is involved in this game. I don't know if he does the main character's voice, but I heard this is like a Keanu Reeves game. So I definitely have to pick it up because I do like Keanu Reeves, and I plan on playing this and seeing what I think about it. I heard it's also underrated, that it's actually pretty fun, so I'll definitely have to try that. Next, we have The Darkness and Darkness 2. The Darkness is, I heard, a decent game, but I just don't have any desire to play it. Maybe one day if I'm bored. A lot of people say the original Darkness is going to become more and more rare to get a hold of, but I'm not sure. Next, we have Darksiders and Darksiders 2. Don't know much about these games, so I can't really say what they're about, but I figured I'd pick them up. They were really cheap, and I'll give them a try sometime. Next game is Deadpool. This game is just as absurd as the comic book and the movie, and it's very fun to play. It's actually a good game, and it's becoming more and more hard to get a hold of, especially after the Deadpool movie came out. But it's very fun. I definitely recommend picking that up. Next, we have Dead Rising. This game, very nice. It is all about like surviving the zombie apocalypse, as the title kind of insists. Fun game, just fun to mess around, fight your way through hordes of zombies, try to stay alive. Next, we have Deadly Premonition. This is a rare game. It's becoming more rare to get a hold of. It's a survival horror game, and it supposedly is really good. So I had to pick this up and get it now before it becomes really hard to get a hold of. You don't see this too often when I'm out at different stores. I don't see it too often. I picked this up at Second and Charles, as you can see by the sticker, and definitely worth every penny. And then we have Dead to Rights. This came out on PS2, I believe, or original Xbox. And this is just, I got this dirt cheap, don't know too much about it. Next, we have Dead Space and Dead Space 2. Dead Space is really creepy, horror-based first-person shooter game. I'll have to get into it sometime, just because I love horror-based games. I heard it's actually really good, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that one in the future. This game, Defiance, this game I actually enjoyed very much. I played this with my brother a lot online. It was really fun to run around. They would have these big monster type things, and like everyone online would just go to them and just like team up to destroy it. This game was actually really fun. It also tied into the TV show. There was a TV show that went alongside this, and the episodes on the TV and the game like tied in together. It was really cool. Shame it failed. Dragon Age 2, another sprawling RPG. I just don't have that much time to play RPGs, so I'll have to get to it sometime. Same thing, Dungeon Siege 3, another RPG. This one I found dirt cheap. I have a feeling this is going to be worth a lot more down the road. It's going to be harder to get a hold of. And then Dynasty Warriors 5. All the Dynasty Warriors games are pretty much the same. Just that hack and slash through hordes of enemies. And that's the end of the first row of my 360. Stay tuned for part 2.